nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man. I be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know? Like Bird or Magic or something. Yeah, you know, a nigga got dough. A nigga could leave the league. But if I leave, the fans still gonna love me, man? I get love out here in Harlem, man. I done sold coke on these streets, man. Hash, weed, heroin. As long as niggas is feeling it, a nigga like me can hustle it. That's my gift in life, eh? You know? What? The fuck you laughing at, B?
You, man. Funny, man. You a hustling motherfucker, man. For real, baby. You fucking killing me, man.
Well, you know me, baby.
Is it the black man's responsibility to build his community? That's the question. Is it the black man's, responsibility to go back into his community and build infrastructure, to go back into his community and protect people who may have shunned him earlier on? And if so, what does that look like? That's the question I want to ask people. What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like we make arguments and videos and stuff, but one of the things that I think we run into, or one of the problems I think we run into in our community, is we're talking about conjecture. We're talking about hypotheticals and not practicality. Because I think that this and the reason this video is coming up is because the Nipsey Hussle thing has caused a lot of discussion and debate in the black community about what should a black man do, because it's well documented what Nipsey did. And a lot of brothers are saying, see, this is why you shouldn't go into the community and try to help, because when you do, this is how niggas do you. Look at what they did to this brother. He came back. He was successful. He came back. He tried to help. He tried to build. He tried to show love to the community, and they shitted on him. They killed him. Right? So there's some truth to that. We have to accept certain fallacies and things that took place in our community and how it cost us, good brothers from time to time. It has happened. I can't deny that, right? But I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that I think it is our responsibility to go into our community and build. And you might be like, well, why is that? That's not fair. I mean, I don't think that's fair that I should have to be burdened, if you will, with coming into the community and providing and protecting a people who really didn't fuck with me, that didn't show me love when I wanted it, when I needed it as a youth growing up. I get it. But the reason I'll say it's our responsibility is real simplistic. The black man in no way is supposed to sacrifice himself. I don't think that's what we're getting at. I don't think you should sacrifice yourself. I don't think that's what we're saying. But how can I help? What are the ways you can help in your community? What can you do? There are a million ways you can help. There are a million things that you can do in your community. Excuse me. There are a million things you can do in your community to help. For example, me, right now I'm teaching a class. I'm helping empower brothers. Young brother came to my house this morning and cut the grass. And what really I liked and admired about, now this was an educated brother. This brother went to Grambling University, and he came and he started, cutting the grass. He was showing some initiative. And I sat down and I talked to the brother and I told him, I said, man, you know, you can get in my class. I can help you get into this. I showed him how much the job's paid. I showed him what can be done. And I saw the light bulb go off in this brother's mind. I saw it. I saw his eyes light up when I started talking about the money. I started talking about the opportunity. And he was into it. And he was like, man, I'm going to look into this. He was talking about coming into my next class. Now, you might be like, well, that's a brother that shows some initiative, so he doesn't count. Well, I think he does count, because I'm going to tell you something, man. Most black people are first generation middle class or upper middle class. That are middle class and upper middle class. Most black people that are making over 50,000 are probably coming from households where their parents didn't make that most of the time. A lot of guys are coming from single family households. There are a lot of black boys that are left in the system, that are ignored, that aren't really, nobody's coming back to help them. Nobody's coming back to show them love. Nobody. So when we talk about this stuff, we have to kind of admit that there are some things that, there's some holes in the arguments when you tell brothers not to come into the community and do stuff. I think that's a problem. I do. I think it's our responsibility, because if we say we care, then I think it's hypocritical to say you care and then ignore brothers in the community that are struggling, that are looking for their way out, that are looking for something to, you know, to build. And so earlier in my last video, I talked about Job 29. And I want to show y'all why I said what I said about Job 29. I'm gonna read to y'all something, okay? So this is Job 29. I'm just gonna read this real quick. It says, chapter 29 says, Job continues in his discourse. How I long for the months gone by, for the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone on my head, when his light walked through, when by his light I walked through the darkness. Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's intimate friendship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me. Now, listen to what he said. He said his children was with him. So this is a guy who basically was talking about his children in his life. He was in their life. And, you know, O'Shea made a brilliant point. I was on the hangout with him earlier. He talked about, if we don't have family structures, none of this stuff that we're doing will benefit us. And I agree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to marry the first woman you meet. I'm not saying that, but you do need to have a mindset of empowerment. I think that's something that, and not only empowerment through family, because it's hard to build wealth if there's no one to pass the baton to. You get what I'm saying? And the best way to pass that baton is to be there to indoctrinate and raise those children so that they'll be able to accept your business and not run it into the ground because they don't know any better. Because you want in your child life, yeah, he's your child, you get a business going, and then you pass away and leave it to him and he ruins it. This happens all the time. So, but a father who raises his child in the business and gives him the ins and outs, that child is more equipped. You get what I'm saying? We're in a race with people that pass batons, and we don't believe in passing the baton. We don't believe in that. A lot of us don't as men. And so, yeah, we're going to lose every time. So let me keep going. He says, I'm going to read that again. He says, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me, he says, when my path was drenched with cream and the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil. He says, when I was at the gate of the city and took my place in the public square. You see, back then, the men of the city would sit at the gate. Right now, this is what he's talking about. It was like known at, when you hear people in church say known at the gates, this so-and-so pastor, or this person in ministry is known at the gates. He says, the young men saw me and stepped aside, for the old men rose to their feet, and the old men rose to their feet. So he was respected in his community. So Job is talking about somebody that was respected, but let's get into why. He says, the chief men refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voices of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roof of their mouths. Whoever heard me spoke well of me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor and cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist them. Those who were dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I poured righteousness as I put on righteousness as my clothing. So he was an upright guy in his community. And because he was upright, because he was, when righteousness means to be in right standing. I'm not trying to have a sermon with you guys. I'm just trying to bring a point out. You don't believe in the Bible? Fine. That's not what I'm getting at. Just listen to what I'm talking about, okay? He says he put on righteousness as his clothing. He had a right standing. Kind of like, I'm not trying to say Nipsey Hussle was righteous in every way, but he's in right standing. He's without fault when it comes to his attitude towards his community, his attitude towards the young men in the community, the brothers in the community that only saw gangs as a way out. You see, what we have a problem. Gangs believe in recruiting. Gangs believe in showing brothers love when they feel like they got their family, they broke, their mom ain't this, the dad ain't this. The gang will come and show love. See, they out recruiting the educated lanes. They just are in certain instances, not every time. Because a lot of brothers come through the community and succeed, but more often than not, a lot of brothers get sucked into that life. Right? He says right here, he says, I put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. He helped the needy, man. He did what was right. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy who accepts responsibility. He didn't make them blind. He didn't make them lame. He didn't make those ladies widows by killing their children. Conversely, in today's standard, what I'm saying is he didn't go out and sleep with the mamas and create these bastard children that you guys say you don't want to have shit to do with. He didn't do that. He says, I broke my fangs. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. This guy was a hero, man. You know what I'm saying? He says, now I know you guys, oh man, you talking about beat Captain Sable. No, I'm not saying that. He says, I thought I would die in my own house, my days as numerous as the grains of the sand. My roots will reach the water, and the dew will lie all night on my branches. My glory will not fade. The bough will be ever new in my hand. People listen to me expectantly, waiting in silence for my counsel. He was a wise brother. He had wisdom. See what I'm saying? This is a portrait of a man. This is a portrait of masculinity. See what I'm saying? Especially back then. You know, things was different back then. Things was different thousands of years ago. After I had spoken, they spoke no more. My words fell gently on their ears. People listened to wisdom. Why? Because he had earned a place in society of respect, something to be desired. So as a man, as a young man listening to this, you should want to have the breastplate of righteousness where people, and that's Ephesians, but what I'm saying is you should want to have a reputation that precedes you by doing what's right in the community. Like Nipsey, I'm sorry, I don't think the gang is all he was, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. He says they waited for me, asked for showers and drank my words as the spring rain. When I smiled at them, they scarcely believed it. The light of my face was precious to them. They respected that. He had a lot of respect in his community. I chose the way for them and sat as their chief. I dwelt as a king among his troops. I was like the one who comforts the mourners. So that's Job chapter 29. I just wanted to put that out there because some people probably not going to go read it. But the point I'm trying to make is that a man, what masculinity represents to me is accepting one who accepts responsibility. For example, the feminine energy and the masculine energy when it comes to a family. The feminine energy is the one who nurtures, who accepts things in certain situations with kids. When kids do certain things, the mother's not necessarily the disciplinarian. But the father understands, or the masculine understands that, hey, in light of the way the world is, I need to treat you this way so that when you reach a certain plateau or reach a certain fork in the road, you'll know when to make the right decision. You get what I'm saying? So I need to be a good father. That's masculine, holding people responsible for their actions. It's okay to hold people responsible for their actions. I'm not saying don't do that. If a guy's out here gang banging and he's in the streets and he's doing things like that, then I'm not one that's going. I'm not one that's going to stand in the way of that. I'm not that. And I don't think that's what the brothers on the panel were saying. I think that they were saying, some of the brothers were saying that you want to get, if you're going to get to reach a lot of brothers in the streets, like the gangs, then you need to probably not come with this pretentious attitude that you guys are beneath me because you didn't go to school, you didn't do this, you're beneath me, you're this, you're that, you're a scumbag, you're scum of the earth. Then you want to reach this brother and tell him that he's not going to listen to you because you just told him he wasn't shit. He's going to look at you like, dude, you know, and he's probably going to call you an elitist, which is whack, but that's probably what's going to happen. You get what I'm saying? I'm educated. I don't have a criminal record. I got some tickets out, but they all paid, but that's it. That's all I've ever had was tickets. Never been in trouble with the law. But let me tell you something. When it comes down to it, if I'm trying to reach a young brother in the streets, I'm not going to come at him and shun him for decisions that, quite frankly, he probably felt like that was the best thing for him at the time. What I would tell him is, hey, young blood, this is a better way. There's a better way. You can make it. That's what Nipsey Hussle was doing. Coming into the community, doing what he was doing. I don't think we're romanticizing him in the sense of making him out to be something he's not, because he literally did everything. Everything that people are saying is true. The dude did do that. He did go in the community. He started Vector 360. He was trying to help black kids get into Silicon Valley. He bought the block. He bought back the block and provided jobs. I mean, that's what we need black men to do. We need more black men like that. And any black man that does that needs to be commended for those actions. Because what that then does is that places the honest or that places the responsibility, if you will, on the individual in the community to say, dang, man, I got to do for my community. It's not cool for me to just sit up here and ignore the ills in the community. See, because now guys like Future look whack now. Because everybody's looking at Nipsey and saying, okay, if this is what Nipsey was doing, then what are these? See, that's somebody that's looking at the greater good of the community and saying, let's take responsibility. Nipsey took responsibility for his community, not blame. Nipsey didn't at one time did Nipsey say, I take the blame for niggas out here shooting each other. No, but he took responsibility and said, well, let me do something to provide a way out for a lot of brothers and sisters in the community. Now, because he took that step, somebody's going to come in there, they going to code that probably is from the community that didn't have that opportunity, that didn't have those brothers out there, but now somebody has reached out and given them an olive branch and saying, hey, maybe you can get exposed to coding. Maybe you can get exposed to this tech in this store that I'm doing. Look how we doing. I'm bringing technology into my community and showing you guys how we can do. And that's what he was talking about. So I think that that's good. That to me is masculine. That's the most masculine thing you can do, is do what's right for your community. Because masculine, and let's take it to a micro. When you talk about masculine energy, the basic fundamentals of being a man is what? Provide, protect, certain things, more to it than just providing. And what does that providing encompass? A lot of things are encompassed in providing and protecting. Because sometimes protecting is not always just getting out there and ready to shoot and fight. That's not necessarily protecting. A lot of times protecting is financial. Protecting is the wisdom that Job provided. You get what I'm saying? That's what Job was talking about. Job was a wealthy guy, known at the gates, respected. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be a multi-millionaire. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times providing and protecting comes in a myriad of forms. When you have people that weren't his kids, he said widows, kids, orphans, basically came to this guy. People that basically parents, for whatever reason back then, it wasn't like it is now. Whatever reason their parents weren't around, they could come to him for counsel and for protection. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I know I sound like a superhero right now. I know to some of you guys, man, you sound crazy. You want me to go in the community? Them niggas gonna kill me. Well, don't go to the community. I didn't tell you to go in. You don't have to go to the community to care. You don't have to see. We want to oversimplify arguments and beat up fake arguments that nobody's. I'm not telling you. Look, if you feel like you go to the community and niggas be ready to whoop your ass every time you get out the car, then don't go. Obviously, there's something about you that they feel like they got to pounce on you. Then fine. I don't feel that way. I go home and do whatever the hell I want to do. And Montgomery's one of the worst cities in the country. Like Montgomery, if it was the size of Chicago, they have damn near triple the murders that Chicago got. That's how bad Montgomery is. But I go home, I go around people. Now, do I hang out at the trap house? Hell no. Am I running with dudes I know that I went to school with that's dope boys and I'm all up? No. We see each other, we speak for a few minutes at the most. I might doubt, man, good to see you. And keep it moving. I don't go in those circles. You know what I'm saying? But Nipsey, the way he died, he was on Slauson and Crenshaw. Man, that's like a main thoroughfare in LA, man. That's like, I don't know, like if you from Atlanta, that's like saying he was on Old National. Over at the swap meet we got one in old swap meet over here. You got the Slauson swap meet. And then you got but over here you got Old National. That's like saying he got killed over there. He had a shop. He owned the shopping center over there in Old National. He bought it. And he was, providing jobs for people over there on Old National. He got killed on Old National. He shouldn't have been there. I mean, and that's what ABL was saying, like he shouldn't have been there. But I'm sorry, if a guy who owns the shopping center tends to want to go there one day and he see people, and plus he grew up in that neighborhood, I'm not going to fault the guy for that. I don't think that's, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think that means he can't never, because come on, man. So according to ABL, he's saying if he ever got to some money, he'll never come to the community, ever. You come to the community with security if you want to. How often do celebrities get killed in their community? How often? A lot of rappers, when they die in their cities. That is true. But out of all the celebrities and athletes that we have in the NFL and the NBA, how many of them get killed in their own community? That's extremely rare. Like statistically, like if we took statistics of all the pro football and basketball and baseball and rappers and singers and athletes, whatever, and you wrapped all of them up, I mean, you talking about maybe less than 1% that actually do get killed. So, I mean, I don't think Nipsey at his level of success, who, let's be honest, was a guy that was already, he had a record label and he signed Bloods. So it wasn't like he was out there gangbanging. He wasn't on that. And then on top of that, when Cardi B, who I despise, when Cardi B made a comment and called a bunch of dudes, said some disrespectful terms to a lot of Crips, Nipsey came out like, look, I'm not gangbanging anything, like I'm not out here set tripping, but I just don't think she should be saying that to a bunch of Crips. Because, I mean, you need to say, whatever you say on the phone, you need to be willing to say that in a room full of Crips. He said, man, I wouldn't dare go around a bunch of Bloods and just call them a bunch of whatever the little terms that they use, unless I'm ready for some action. I wouldn't do that. This is what Nipsey said. So the fact that he died, it wasn't like a Blood came up from a rival gang or something and just shot him because he had been out there set tripping. Then yeah, by all means, I mean, I'm like, well, he kind of put himself in that scenario. But no, and this is from a Blood. You can go listen to what's his name? Sway in the Morning. It's on YouTube. Sway in the Morning from Monday or last week, right after Nipsey died, and listen to the Blood that called in. He was an OG. That OG called in and said, man, look, everybody on Hispanic, everybody loved this guy. No, there was no word out on the street. Everybody put the word out on the street. Nipsey was to not be touched. So the fact that happened was almost like a freak. I ain't gonna say freak accident, but it was a freak occurrence. It really was. So that's all I want to say about that. The point I'm trying to make is this, man. When it comes to being a man and caring about your community, we cannot. And this is just what I feel. Because I don't think nobody on that panel I was just on would make the point that they hate or they don't care about black boys. We all agree on that, right? So if you care about black boys, where are they right now? A lot of them being raised by single moms who probably didn't give you the ass when she was in high school. That probably would not have given you the ass because all of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Or a lot of them are raised by single moms who, let's be honest, are women you probably would never have touched anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like everybody's mom was fine at 17 years old. Some of these girls wasn't all that. You wasn't studying them girls anyway, but now they have kids. Well, it ain't my responsibility. If you're gonna take that attitude, take that attitude, and you're not gonna be community minded. I look at Joel 29. I use that as a frame of reference as to why I think the way I think when it comes to my community. You see what I'm saying? I'm community minded. I want to have righteousness as my clothes. I want to be clothed in righteousness. So when people see me, they say I command respect because, hey, that's a brother that went out there and helped throw 40, 50 brothers and sisters into the tech industry that probably wouldn't have never knew about it. But he helped make a difference. He put brothers and sisters out there to compete in Silicon Valley. It's brothers like some of these brothers and sisters that I'm helping are now starting businesses already. Some of the students that I taught, I'm proud of that. Damn it, I ain't ashamed to say that. I am proud of that. I'm proud of that. I thank God that I was the vessel through which they were used, that God used to put these brothers and sisters in this position. Shout out to Drew, Lima, Mark. Shout out to these people. People out here saving money and starting businesses and stuff, creating opportunities that he said, man, I wasn't doing it. I was working somewhere making peanuts. But now I'm up here making 85, 90,000. You know, some of them making almost close to 100 saying, hey, this is my first job. Now I'm making $40, $45 an hour. I'm making $1,800 direct deposit every Friday. I had a part to do with that. I'm proud of that shit. Not to where I feel like I can turn and talk down about. I'm not talking down about anybody and trying to shame other people to do what I do. I'm not trying to shame you. But what I am saying is being community minded is one of the most masculine things we can do as men. I believe that. Community mindedness, wherever you are, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you move to the community either. You don't have to move to the hood to be community minded. I don't think anybody's saying it. You don't have to go in the hood. If you feel like it's a chance you might get shot or some nigga gonna pull up and just whoop your ass because you a nigga that he didn't like in high school and now you back trying to help the kids and he's still fucking with you, then by all means don't go. If that's what you think, don't. You see what I'm saying? But there is a shortage of people that are sending any type of lifeline. You can do it through the internet. You can cut checks. You can do a lot of things to help. Go, but my mindset is, are you gonna help at all? Or are you gonna sit and point the finger and say, well, Nipsey got shot, this is why? Well, let's be honest, you ain't doing shit. A lot of people that's talking like that, you ain't doing nothing anyway. Some of them ain't really, like a lot of the people, I feel like some of the people that's talking like Nipsey saying that this is why you shouldn't go back to the hood, don't go back. The don't go back people, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them, like you can look at their lives and see they're not doing it. It's all about them. It's all about what they want. You see what I'm saying? Say what you will, right? But, and this is a point, not trying to get no beef for them, but there was a point that was made, I have to say it. So one guy said that Nipsey affected, did a lot for a lot of people, a lot more so. But somebody said that in the chat while I was on there, on the Brother Pill or the Sunday Rumble, right? Somebody said Nipsey's done a lot more than the people on this panel. He's changed a lot of lives. And so Super Sly came back and said, well, I'm going to do way more than him. I'm going to see my grandkids. I don't think that's what the brother was really getting at. What they're saying is, and this is what I think they're saying. I don't think that, Nipsey died at 33. So if you live to be 90, you probably gonna do a lot of things. You're gonna get to see a lot of stuff he never got to see. This is a fact, right? But if you say, you know what, Nipsey has affected the minds of millions of people. Before he died, he had affected the mind. There's a lot of people, at least I would venture to say in the hundreds of thousands, that were encouraged by his words and his rhymes, by his interviews, by, you can look at the Breakfast Club and look at how many people were viewing. You can look at when he was on Ism Radio with Tariq Nasheed and some of the stuff he was saying. This brother literally modeled it out. And you be like, well, I mean, what difference does that make? Well, let's look at what Tupac did, right? Tupac died young. He didn't really get a chance to get to a certain level economically. But what Tupac did say, and I feel like he's right, Tupac said, I will spark the mind that will change the world. And Nipsey Hussle literally said that he was influenced by Tupac. You see, a lot of times making a change, because see, I'm gonna tell you something. Yes, raising your kids, living a full life is a wonderful thing. I will never disagree with you. And, you know, let's look at the last speech of Martin Luther King. I've been to the mountaintop. What did he say? Like everybody, I want to grow old and see my grandkids. You know, he said, but that don't even matter now because I've been to the mountaintop. He was likening that to Moses going to the mountaintop, overlooking the promised land right before he died. Say, look, this is where it is. Joshua's going to take it from here. You see what I'm saying? He said, I want to make it. You know what I'm saying? I got all the desires that everybody else had. But then he was shot down literally like the next day in Memphis. So, but Martin Luther King has affected the world. So for me to try to sit and talk about Martin Luther King and play Monday morning quarterback and say Martin Luther King was ignorant for standing up for what he believed in and trying to help people in the community. I mean, surely you see how ignorant that is, right? I respect it. Now, I ain't gonna lie and say I don't know if I could have gave my life like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Malcolm X, it said that Malcolm X, it's not said. There are interviews. Malcolm X said, I'm a dead man. He literally said, I'm a walking dead man. They tried to kill Malcolm in LA when he was flying to see somebody and they rerouted him to Chicago. They was trying to kill Malcolm. It said when he was on the stage and them brothers came up there and was about to shoot Malcolm, they say Malcolm kind of stepped over a little bit and stood there and looked at him like he wanted him to shoot him. Malcolm that brother sacrificed his life for his family, but he also was a man of integrity. Like you could read Job 29 and you can look at Malcolm and the way he lived his life and you can see that was Malcolm's disposition. That was him. That was Malcolm X. He was a principled individual. That's what we need. We need more men of standard men, principled men. Men that don't look at stuff for what's in it for me. What can I get from it? These guys had principles, core values. That's what Malcolm was about. You see what I'm saying? Even the CIA said it. You know what I'm saying? I remember in that movie, Malcolm X, they was listening to him. They said, this guy makes Martin Luther King look like a saint. Just in the sense that you got to understand. And look, I'm not disrespecting King. I'm just saying in general that Malcolm X was a guy of renown and respect. You see what I'm saying? Him, Marcus Garvey wasn't perfect. He had some arrogant ways about him in certain instances, but I'm just saying, principled individuals. Those are the guys that people talk about hundreds of years and decades after they've been dead. Tupac been dead 20 going on 30 years. People still talking about him. Why? See what I'm saying? He made his mark. We gonna all be dead one day. But did you make a mark? See, as men, that's what we should want to do. I want to make a mark. I want to leave a legacy. I want to build not just a family, but I want to build something that's so broad that it affects not just my family, but others. It's only right. The Bible said, what is it? Jesus said, if you have a child, I'm paraphrasing. He said, if you have a child, are you not, any parent would give his child, if he asks for a fruit and you give him a snake? No, he's like, parenting is something that we all do. Animals parent. We're bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? We're greater than that, than just animals. I think as a people, as men, we should want to care and build and help and provide and protect for others. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, including our women. Including our women. Now, are there some stipulations that go with that? Of course there are. Sisters, you can't come at a man. If you treat a man with disrespect and disdain, then, I mean, you kind of, if you out here, like, I think I was talking to Edwin Anderson, and I think Africa Miranda, the girl from Mademoiselle, was talking about calling the police on dudes just because they trying to holler at you. If you one of them women that out here calling the police on brothers because they see a beautiful woman and they want to try to talk to her, you kind of disqualify yourself from protection. I can't co-sign that. But there are many grades in between, many degrees in between that and a woman that's respectful. I think women can be respectful. I think that's the thing. I think women do need to look at Proverbs 31. Look at that woman. That woman was an asset. She was out there selling real estate. She was doing all types of stuff, man. And if you understand the culture, and her wearing lavender, burnt purple and stuff that she used to wear, that stuff was expensive. That was a quality woman. You see what I'm saying? Quality. So it's certain things that our women should bring, and I think it's certain things that we as men should bring. We need men out here helping, teaching these young brothers how to be men. Some brothers don't know. And so now this is key that we know we don't have the infrastructure. It's because you literally have men, grown ass men, full grown, or should I say males, that are telling men they don't need to come with solutions and answers. Now, men build. That is the first thing I think of when I think of a man, is a builder. And you telling me that I don't need to come with solutions? But shit, if you don't come with solutions, then how are you going to build a society? How are you going to fix the ills that we face as a people if we are ill-equipped as men? Now, I ain't saying, like I said, I ain't saying marry every woman you see. No, I mean, it's a lot that go into that. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a hypocrite by no stretch. But what I am saying is, I don't think that we can sit up here and hold brothers, try to tell brothers not to do certain things and then turn around and call ourselves masculine. Because that to me is the most, that's not masculine. That's the opposite of masculine. That's feminine. A woman can say that. A woman can say, I don't need to come with solutions. You the man, fix it. That shit don't hurt my feelings when I hear that. When a woman tell me, you the man, fix it. That doesn't bother me. When I hear women say stuff like that, men haven't built that, I don't get it. I don't get angry. You know why I don't get angry? Because I'm a builder. And I actually build. I'm out here working. So that don't face. It's like telling somebody, hey man, you need to lose weight. Okay. I'm running and you running 4-5 miles a day and eating right and you watching your diet. You won't really getting your feelings in. What are you talking about? I am building. That's the answer you probably, if anybody would get upset, that's the answer they probably would give. But I'm not going to say, well, why would I build when you this and you that? Well, if you build and this woman doesn't want you, now you got the money. You can buy a plane ticket. You can go here. You can travel. You can date, as Edward Anderson puts it, interculturally. Now you got choices. You got options like Mr. Research talks about. That's a man with choices now. Now if you ain't with the program, I ain't got to put up with your bullshit. I can get me. You see what I'm saying? That's a man with options. Men with options ain't worried. We don't worry. We don't bitch. We don't moan. We don't complain. You know why? Because I got options. I got, I can get, man, I ain't worried about it. You don't hear me talk about the women I can get, because it's something that's just, it's something I didn't have for years. Something you didn't have, you get used to it. It's like sex. You don't hear a man that gets sex, they don't really talk about it like that. Like, I ain't trying to be funny. I don't obsess about sex. Not to say I'm just not going to go into my personal life, but I don't obsess about it. It ain't something that I don't care. Like, it's not something I worry about. It's like successful people. I've been around a lot of successful bros. They ain't talking about it. If they is, they talking about it for joking, or not joking, but just talking about it in the sense of fun or something, like conquest or something they may be feeling like, but they're not obsessed with it. Brothers that's on private planes, brothers that own big corporations, and black men that are real successful, they got their stuff together, they not worried about no woman. They don't complain about women not giving them please. Brothers that are successful, they get the women. That's just real. I know people don't believe it. So we got to understand what is real success now, because I'm sorry, like, and I'm going to go here too. If you're a brother and you got a degree, you're not entitled to a dime. You just not. I'm sorry. A dime is not gonna date a brother with just an education and a job, and that's all he has. He's not bringing something. If you got an education and a job among other attributes that a woman may want, then the more you have, the more opportunity and choices that you have. You can't just say, well, you should want me because I this and I that, and in the future, your children will have this and yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, a girl in her 20s probably ain't gonna think like that. That's something a woman in her 30s gonna think. I'm just being honest. That's just the way it is. Women in their 20s, the dimes, the women that you see on Instagram with rappers and celebrities in their DM, they not finna sit there and think that, you know what, this rapper probably is just gonna sleep with me and keep it moving. And they gonna think, no, my coochie is so good and I'm so fine and my ass is so fat that he gonna settle down with me and all these bitches gonna be envious of me and I'm gonna be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'm gonna be honest, that's how dumb a lot of them think. So when you start talking about dimes, a lot of times as brothers, we might have to either this. If you're a brother, you a degree brother, but you're not getting play from sisters, and you on the internet complaining, then you probably need to go where you will be highly desired. Now that can be a myriad of places, and that doesn't necessarily mean white women. Some brothers will just say straight up white women. Go ahead, I ain't gonna even go there because I think it is a problem with being pro. Every brother that does that is not gonna then turn around and be community minded. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I don't believe every brother's gonna be like Nate Parker. I doubt it. Now, is it feasible? Yeah, you can have a Nate Parker type, the Don Peebles type brother that's out here in the community doing what he gotta do. You can have that, but then for the most part, a lot of brothers ain't gonna be like that. A lot of brothers get with these white women and get in the suburbs, and they that's it. They living in their own little enclave, and they don't really have nothing to do with their communities. And from time to time, you'll see them talking greasy about the black community and why they feel like they had to get out of it and they had to get away from it. And the cycle will continue. It just will. So I just wanted to kind of throw some of my thoughts out. But women, I think women are something that I don't know. It's like, it's been times where I was broke out, ain't had no money. I didn't want a woman. When I was broke, no job, no car, license suspended, I barely could get an erection. I wasn't thinking about a woman. So, and then when I started getting my stuff together, more so financially, women, that's an easy subject. That's so easy. Maybe because I live in Atlanta, I don't know, but it's easy. Like, it's not hard to get a woman, especially a black woman. If you're a black man and got your stuff together, it's so easy. It's so easy. Like when you got money, I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm just talking about like when you make over 4 figures a week, you're okay. You can make 4 figures you come home with 4 figures a week, you all right. You ain't really hurting for a woman. That's all I'm saying. And when I hear people talking, I sit here and sometimes I just don't. I ain't gonna lie, until I got on YouTube, I didn't know this world existed. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know there was so many, dare I say, hurt brothers out here that really are hurt because they didn't get that. Sex to a lot of these brothers is very important. Like it's because you're not getting it. So I guess it really sinks down to what it's very important to them. So I get it. But I think that, like you can talk about who they choose to sleep with in the community. You can talk about that. You can talk about how that is something that affects the community. Because if you pop children out by the wrong guy, you keep the cycle going. I agree, right? And let's be honest, how does that happen? Let's look at that. How do girls choose the wrong guys? Okay, so an educated Lane is not gonna get money till he's about his late 20s, 30s, early 30s. That's when you're gonna start being able to compete with that drug dealer economically, right? Now, young girls, when you're in high school, who's gonna have money? Who's gonna have the joy? Who's gonna have the nice stuff? The drug dealer. Or if you got parents that got money, you'll be able to look nice and compete that way. But if not, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to compete with those guys at a young age. You're not going to be able to come at girls at 19. I was in high school with girls that dudes would literally, dope boys would come at them and pull out knots of money and tell them they going to buy them this and buy them that. These niggas was just straight up tricks. Straight up simp tricks, just out off the top. That's why we have a Cardi B right now. Cardi B is terrorizing the black community right now because some simp blood co-signed her and let her into the blood gang, and here we go. Now we got to deal with her. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is when brothers talk about people like Cardi B, when brothers talk about who women choose to have children with, you got to understand that she at a young age is not, a lot of times, especially if she doesn't have a father, and if you don't have people going into the community to try to enlighten people and tell them, because some of these brothers that are on the internet, I ain't saying go back and teach black girls, because I don't think we need women doing that. But a lot of girls can benefit from hearing brothers tell them, hey, this is the guy you need to be with. This is the guy you need to try to get with. You need to get with a guy that does this. You need to get with a guy that's from a STEM science. You need to get with a guy that does this and does that. You need to get with a guy that they don't know any better. So who do they follow? They follow TV. They follow Future. They follow Kodak Black. They follow people, you know what I'm saying? They try to imitate other girls. They imitate the women on Instagram. That's who they follow. They follow 40-something-year-old Delicious out here trying to talk to 20-year-old rappers. See what I'm saying? That's who they look up to. They don't have any role models. So there needs to be awakening with our women too. So the women need to get on their job. But I think the men need to get on their job too. I think we both do. And I don't have any real, I guess, anger towards anybody that was on the counter. Everybody was cool for the most part. To me, they were anyway. They was going at it. It wasn't at me. I ain't got nothing against nobody. But like I said, I just feel like when it comes down to it, I think it is our responsibility as men to take responsibility for our community. We should take responsibility for our community. Yes, we should. We should, take responsibility and build. We should take responsibility and try to help save as many young black boys that we can. If you have a black boy that lives across the hall from you, that lives in the same apartment, or lives next door in the house next to you, if you can make a difference in that boy's life, do it. Do it. You know what that means? You get what I'm saying? Do that. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people, like, what's his name? What's the guy name? Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was mentored by a guy that really wasn't his father, that mentored him in business. And he became one of the richest guys in the world. If he was alive today, he'd probably be a trillionaire. This guy was the steel man. He built the steel. He basically built all the skyscrapers. He built all the skylines. All the steel came from his company, U.S. Steel. Andrew Carnegie built the bridge across the Mississippi. That's him. See what I'm saying? But how did he learn? He was mentored from a young age by a white guy. Back then, mentorship was the thing. We've lost that. You see what I'm saying? Mentorship was the thing. He was mentored. He learned how to read, how to do books and stuff, how to learn stuff. And that's why he became a successful businessman. There are people out here right now that are in business. I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of people on YouTube that's front. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I know for a fact MOT legit. What I'm saying, so I damn sure ain't talking about him. I'm saying there are people on YouTube that may talk business, they really ain't about that business they talk. That's just real. See what I'm saying? So I think we need brothers to mentor. And some of these brothers that's talking about not going back into the community, you ain't got no real gifts and talents that you can even offer to the community anyway. Real talk. A lot of you just talking on YouTube. I don't see you exhibiting any skills that you can thereby pass on. And if you do have these skills, there are brothers like the one who cut my grass today who will want these skills, but I don't see you giving back. So if you ain't giving back, you can't, you see what I'm saying? That's what I was talking about earlier. It's one thing to live a long life. It's another thing to be like a guy who influences the world. Like Nipsey is about to do. He's going to influence the world. This guy's going to be a legend. I hate he had to die to be one. But this guy's gonna be a legend. Another living legend, I would say right now, is a guy like Jay-Z, who I'm not saying I admire him. He's done some things I don't like, but Jay-Z has kind of changed and flipped the script now. Even in his last 444 album, if you look at what he was saying in that album about valuing his family, how he didn't want to lose his family and becoming a grown ass man, and said, man, I had to grow up, man. I ain't want. This a man talking. See what I'm saying? Like you got to see how he was talking about valuing his. This is a rapper talking about valuing his wife and kids. You see what I'm saying? Like that's powerful, man. This is a guy who pretty much drives pop culture, because Nipsey Hussle, when he tried to sell his CD for $100, people laughed at him until Jay-Z went and bought 100 of them at $10,000, and then now everybody, oh, that's an ingenious idea. Everybody wanted to buy him then. And the dude, so now he's considered a genius because Jay-Z backed him. Jay-Z is an influential guy. And this guy on his last album was literally valuing his wife and kids and saying, I didn't want to lose my wife and kids. I need to straighten up. That's grown man talk. That's righteousness. You see what I'm saying? That's the model that I would like to follow in my life. I'm not perfect, but that's what I think a man should follow. Y'all be blessed.
Let's go, baby, to the hole in the wall. I've had my best time, y'all. Yes, I did. In the hole in the wall. 3 o'clock in the morning, all the damn clubs are closed. I went to this place, y'all. I didn't want anyone to know. I walked into the room, had my nose in the air. It's 7 in the morning, and I'm still in there. Let's go, baby, to the hole in the wall. Oh, yeah. I've had my best time, y'all. Yes, I did. In the hole in the wall. I took my high-class woman with me the next night. She didn't want to get out of the car. She said it didn't look right. She walked into the room with her nose in the air. It's 7 in the morning, y'all, and she's still in there. Smoke-filled room, whiskey and chicken wings. People dancing and drinking, and no one wants to leave. Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah. To the hole in the wall. I wanna go there. I've had my best time, y'all. Yes, I did. And the hole in the wall. I know you've heard of that before. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Smoke-filled room, whiskey and chicken wings. People dancing and drinking, and no one wants to leave. Let's go, baby. Can we go to the hole in the wall? I've had my best time, y'all. In the hole in the wall. I wanna go, baby. Can we go to the hole in the wall? I know a lot of y'all have heard of that before. It's like all the time at night, you can hang out all night long. And I wanna go back to the hole in the wall. Somebody go with me. Let's go, baby. To the hole in the wall. I've had my best time, y'all. At the hole in the wall. Oh, yeah. 3 o'clock in the morning, all the damn clubs are closed. I went to this place, y'all. I didn't want anyone to know. Walked into the room, had my nose in the air. It's 7 in the morning, and I'm still I've had my best time, y'all. Yes, I did. In the whole